I had some prepared remarks, but I want to break away from them.
The senator from New Jersey.
Thank you very much for the recognition. I think, I'm not sure, but I think I'm the only senator here that lives in a low-income black and brown community in the United States Senate. I live in a beautiful neighborhood in a beautiful central ward of Newark, New Jersey. We don't mistake wealth with worth. In fact, I went off to get fancy education. I may have got my BA from Stanford, but I got my PhD on the streets of Newark, learning from some of the most incredible people I've ever encountered in my life. If there's one lesson that I've learned early in my days in the 1990s, living in the central ward of Newark, at the height of the drug war, it's that this war on drugs was not a war on drugs, it was a war on people, and not all people, but certain people. It was a war on poor people. It was a war on black people. And it was destroying lives, that people were getting criminal convictions for doing things that 2 of the last 4 presidents admitted to doing. Simple possession. Getting criminal convictions for it. And here is what is even more anguishing at a time in the opioid addiction where everybody now is on the same page that people who are addicted deserve to have treatment. Back in those days, churned into the criminal justice system were African Americans for simple possession who were in desperate need of compassion and care and love and treatment. And this gets me to Vanita Gupta. I watched the 2 statements that my friend and colleague from Texas put up. They're screaming the difference between those 2 statements. I don't support the legalization of all drugs, but I do support the decriminalization of small amounts of drugs and getting people help and not a lifetime scarlet letter of being a convicted criminal. She does not support the criminalization of all drugs. I'm glad to see that she is looking at the challenge that we have in this country of arresting people that need help. And my friend Senator Durbin, with great patience and not relying on raising his voice like I do, a real gentleman, said it simply. Vanita Gupta is not a partisan. She's a patriot. Look at her career. I mean, my mom used to tell me, who you are speaks so loudly, I can't hear what you say. In other words, judge a person by what they have done in their life, how they have lived, where they've sacrificed, what commitments they have made. You chart Vanita's career from her activism in law school to defend the Constitution, from her very first assignment as a lawyer in Texas, defending an outrage of injustice and winning. Where are the people lining up to criticize her in those days working in her nonprofit work? And then for the great high salaries of Department of Justice workers, she goes to lead the Civil Rights Division. Is there people coming forward from their experiences? Are there police officers? Are there police agencies? Are there police groups coming forward to say, when she had that high and vaunted position in the Department of Justice, did she do something that so showed her partisanship? Not one, in fact, quite the contrary to that. Group after group of police organizations are coming forward and saying, she's not a partisan, she's a patriot. I stand by her. She's not a Democrat or Republican, she is an honest broker, a fair actor who pursues justice. She has conservatives who are partisans supporting her. I mean, that's the thing that gets me. We see partisan appointees all the time in here. But here is a woman who actually got people. Mark Holden from the Koch brothers organization is supporting her. So I understand that maybe people are taking words and twisting them. There's not a member of this body that hasn't had that experience to them. When the intention, the goodwill, the honesty behind the words is distorted and twisted by millions of dollars from outside organizations that somehow want to destroy this woman. I know Vanita Gupta. She's not just somebody I have a professional relationship with. I confess to the floor of the United States Senate. She has been my friend for years. I had occasion to talk to her dad, not during this time when she was nominated, months ago. God, the stories he related about her, the pride that beamed through the telephone about her, about how he came from India with $8 in his pocket with an immigrant's dream, and now he gets to see his daughters living lives of service, and how his children were wired this way to so appreciate this nation as immigrants, to know that this nation was formed around the highest ideals of humanity, and to see his two daughters pursuing the cause of our country to make this a more perfect union around the ideals of liberty and justice. That is Vanita Gupta's life. I've had private conversations with her for years about these issues that now she's being accused on, and she is not some radical partisan. She has a heart and a compassion for human beings that, to me, inspires my actions. And this is what hurts the most, because somehow I've seen it in our society when a woman stands up and is strong and defiantly dedicated to ideals that are not made real in reality. They are attacked again and again and again. I've seen it in my own party between presidential candidates. The treatment that the public and the press gives one who's the woman is far different than the same standards they put to the man. And then, God bless America, there's something about women of color that seems to really get them outrageous attacks. I've seen it through my culture's history. They hunted Harriet Tubman. They despised Sojourner Truth. They belittled Rosa Parks. There seems to be something about strength, something about talent, something about being willing to tell the truth that generates something, tries to relegate black women and women of color to be hidden figures in history. I see it in every element of our country, even the medical profession, for God's sake. Even when you control for income and education, black women giving birth, their pain is not attended to. They're underestimated for the struggles they're in, and they die 4 times more likely than white women. And so with this woman I have known for years, I have seen her in private, in public. I've seen her go to work with Republicans, join arm in arm with them in bettering our country. I've seen her serve from her 20s and 30s. I've seen her be, in every step of her career, committed to our country, sacrifice for it. Here we stand on the Senate floor, and I tell you, on the day after the verdict in George Floyd, where I saw other patriots tell the truth on the stand, police officers break with the waves of history, the streams and currents, to tell the truth. This is a moment that I have to tell the truth. This is a good American, a great American, honest, committed, who has sacrificed for her country. And in a time of injustice still, where our jails and our prisons are filled with people who are hurt, when we, the land of the free, has 1 out of every 4 incarcerated people, and get this, 1 out of every 3 incarcerated women on the planet Earth in our jails and prisons, where almost 90% of them are survivors of sexual assault. This is the time we need more compassion. This is the time we need more empathy. This is the time we need more civic grace towards one another. And Vanita embodies that. She stands for that in every fiber of her being. Her career echoes with that spirit. And should we confirm her to this position, I promise you here on the Senate floor, before the flag of my country, she will do this nation proud, committed. She will never mistake popularity for that purpose. She will never be distracted by the partisan games going on in the Capitol. She will be committed to the higher calling. I ask my colleagues to step back for a moment and see the truth of who she is, who police organizations say she is, who prominent conservatives say she is, to see the person her dad says she is, and elevate this incredible person, this incredible woman of color, to a position that desperately, to a nation that desperately needs this kind of leader. I yield the floor.